What you are currently looking at right now is the 1928 American short film known as Steamboat Willie, or otherwise known as the first official appearance of Disney's main mascot character, Mickey Mouse. Even though technically it isn't, it's his third. But forget about that. That's not important right now. What is that on January 1st of 2024, Steamboat Willie officially entered the public domain after decades of Disney fighting to prevent that. Originally, it was supposed to do so in 1955, but was renewed back to 1986, then extended back to 2003, and then finally 2023 by the Copyright Term Protection Act, otherwise known as the Mickey Mouse Protection Act. The reason Congress was so accommodating towards good old Mickey was because Disney did a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, here's $1 million, allegedly. But why do I bring this all up? It's not exactly uncommon for something to enter the public domain, as just 2 years prior to this, the original Winnie the Pooh characters and stories entered the public domain. Well, that's because Steamboat Willie's introduction into the public domain, or rather Mickey Mouse's, finally helped click in my mind what this could mean for the future of entertainment. And almost immediately, I was proven right with the trailer for Mouse P.I. for Hire, with to anyone with a working pair of eyes could say, hey, this looks like it's loosely based on the 1928 American short film Steamboat Willie starring Mickey Mouse. Hell, even Winnie the Pooh's been getting some action with its own shitty live-action cinematic horror universe. People are and will be going after these famous franchises to either make a genuine attempt at entertainment or a quick buck. And as time passes, more and more of these franchises will be joining them. So far, it's been small stuff. What I want to know is, how far will it all go? Like, are we ever going to get to see a big budget crossover between Popeye and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic at some point in the future without it being labeled as a fan fiction? Probably not, but it could happen, and that's wild. Of course, let me preface that by saying just because something has entered the public domain, it doesn't mean you could use it as an asset freely. For example, if you decided to make a video game based on Steamboat Willie using its characters and even its music as a base, you probably could. But if you chose to use Mickey Mouse from Kingdom Hearts in it instead of black and white Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie, you'd get your ass sued. Because you can only use assets from the Steamboat Willie copyright made in 1928. Not all it has to do with those characters after that. You'll need to wait for that to enter the public domain as well. This all seems outlandish, I know, but there is interest. There is a YouTuber called Austin McConnell trying to make his own cinematic universe using D-tier heroes like, I don't know, Catman or something, whoever this guy is. We are merely in the early phases of this, but with time this will change because a lot of these characters and franchises were made over 100 years ago, before the information era we live in today was a thing, where access to them was a bit more rare than walking past a Spider-Man section at the supermarket. For better or worse, society today revolves around such things in a way the past never has. Of course, some of these franchises persist to this day, like Hercules, or Alice in Wonderland, or The Wizard of Oz. But when are you ever going to see any of those outside some movie re-release that will soon fade from relevance? A lot of that has to do with the copyright length. Copyright length changes from country to country, but generally it's between 70 to 95 years depending on the author's death and the like. And when that time is up, most of these properties are largely forgotten. For example, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Who is he? No one gives a shit. That's who. But that's going to be slowly changing in the next 50 years as more and more world-famous franchises that have left their mark on wider pop culture will enter the public domain. For example, both Superman and Batman are slated to enter the public domain in 2034 and 2035 respectively. That's less than 10 years from now, and I can't imagine either of them being forgotten by them. They are far too popular, especially Batman. Of course, and once more, it will only be the original iterations of them, but even those have incredible potential for storytelling. And in Superman's case, it may even be a benefit, as Superman has always struggled, for example, in the video game space, because he is far too strong to be depicted realistically without nerfing him into the ground. But that won't be a problem with the original. He was strong, but not that strong. He was fast, but not that fast. He couldn't even fly. He jumped. Them entering the public domain will essentially reset them so that others can try to depict them without all the modern bullshit like Batman, a regular human, punching Reverse Flash running right towards him at superhuman speeds and justifying it by saying, "He's Batman." Look, I am well aware a lot of these public domain projects will end up being like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies. Quick jobs made for quick bucks, but hopefully every once in a while there will be flashes of brilliance from someone else trying their hand at these properties. And that's what I want to see here. Elevation, not stagnation. I want to see a successful Superman video game, a noir-style Batman detective film, and a Pokemon game not made by Modern Game Freak because the CEOs wanted new yachts that year. Granted, I will have to wait until 2091 for that, but I will. And mark my words, I will play it even if I'm a crusty old man by then. What I'm trying to get across here is that I feel that the future holds a lot of potential. How much exactly? Well, all of it. And it's only a matter of time. This has been Andy William Mackai. Mackai Lorien, out.